let's get the Te Kaha team up, or the One New Zealand Stadium at Te Kaha team up. Great.
Yes.
Tēnā koutou katoa. I'm David Kennedy, Chief Executive of Te Kaha Project Delivery Limited. Two things for you today. We've got some quite recent drone footage which we'll put up on the screen so you can see what's happening on site. And then you've got my report, which is probably pretty easy for you to read, but I can answer questions to it or take you through some of the highlights. So if we can just push the go button, you'll be able to see what's happening on site, and Mark will talk to some of the features. So this is starting in the north-west corner.
Yes, so we've got two drone footages here. So in the first one, you'll see at the end there's still a gap in the steelwork. This was taken on Monday, the 20th of January. As we're coming around, this is down Madras Street, so the west frontage, you can see the steels going very well. They're working on the facades there. The first of the glazing has gone in at the main entrance. We're just passing the main entrance, so that'll be the players' entrance and entrance to the corporate. As we come around, still working on the facade. All the steelworks through here. You can see up on the roof, they're carrying on with the purlins, which are the members that will actually, the roofing will be fixed to. Coming now onto the southern end of the facility, Churm Street. You'll see there the actual facade with the cultural narrative. And as we're coming around, you'll see the steelwork there has actually now been touched up and painted, so it's had the final coat of white paint on there. Moving around now to the east side of the facility, so Barbados Street. Once again, you can look through there now.
Sorry, Mark, look at the people up there. That just gives you a sort of relevant of the size, isn't it?
It's huge when you actually see it there. And,
yeah.
I wouldn't like to be up on the top of those buckets, but you can actually see there through into the seating. So all the seating is now in. Still the seating down the bottom, just on the field of play, still to go. So coming along Barbados Street frontage, and you'll see on the ground there's the last of the column units there. There's two of them sitting there either side. In the second part of the footage, you'll see they've actually gone in. So those are the last four of the 40 radial truss columns that are going in. As we come up, you can just see the intricacy of the steel roof and why it's taken such a while to do, but it has gone very well, probably better than they hoped. We're now looking at the latter part of the footage, which is from last Friday. In here, you'll see the last four radial trusses have gone up. So they've gone up in modules where there's two trusses. Each of those modules is about 160 tonne each, and they've been able to do that by bringing in the largest mobile crane in New Zealand. That's that big one there, which is 1,200 tonne. So, yeah, really big, but that has enabled them to do that work and pick up some time. So, yeah, looking really good.
Thank you for that. That's really useful to get a bit of see how it's going. I think everyone in town is talking about it. Everyone you bump into can't stop talking about how significant it is and how the progress is going well. Do you want to add anything to your report?
Look, not really. I just draw your attention to the first paragraph under current updates, which are, I think highly relevant to councillors. There are no issues that council needs to be aware of on the project. Work is on program, on budget, and there are no quality issues. So in alignment with our previous presentations to this committee, we are working hard to make sure that health and safety is adhered to, our sustainability metrics are being adhered to, and that we are maintaining a watching brief on the contractor to ensure that they are running along in accordance with their program. The contractor is, I wouldn't say relaxed about the program, but they are comfortable that they are on program. We've been through very critical phases of the project over the last 6 months, with, as Mark was just talking about, the erection of all those bits of steel up high, and those have been completed, and bringing in that big 1,200-ton crane has assisted in ensuring that that roof work was achieved on program. There's fit-out works happening internally now. Electrical works are being fixed. With respect to the community, we continue to have our quarterly meetings in the temporary cathedral. We sometimes get hardly any people, we sometimes get a few people, and they largely come along because they're interested in what's happening rather than concerned about what's happening. I think those are the highlights that I want to bring to the committee's attention. Thank you.
That's great. Just one thing, the Mayor and I were talking about the other day, it'd be good maybe in at the end of February or something like that to get a book and a time for the councillors to go back through. The stadium would be quite keen to have a look.
We can do that. We are flooded with requests for people with all sorts of worthy causes to visit the site, but I'm sure we can make.
I think ours is relatively
I'm
worthy.
sure we can make allowance for the council.
Yeah. I was sort of asking, but not really asking.
No, we understand.
Okay, no, that's fine. So can we leave that with you to do? Okay,
Ken
so
can liaise with
Andre and then Aaron. Yep, thanks.
I was going to ask if we could watch that again, but a visit would be even better. So, visit sounds good.
Great. Aaron.
Yeah, just a question, and it may be too late because it's around capacity. With the seats at the southern end, because stages are going in at the northern end, are all the seats fixed at the southern end, or is there a chance they can be moved? Because when you have an embankment versus seating, you get twice as many people in that space. So we could potentially, without changing the design, only the seating design, have an extra 5,000 odd people. Is that possible, or has that already been considered?
Those seats are fixed.
Right.
There'd be fire engineering
Egress issues. Okay, cool. Just asking the question.
We've got Yanni and then Kelly, and then Phil said he'll move it, and I think Kelly will second it. So.
Just interested in when we're going to get an update on the different tenancies, and like you're progressing so far through the build and the fit out, but I'm also mindful that there's been requests for other activities to go in here, not related to the stadium, but not needing to have an event on to be useful. How is that process connected to the?
I understand your question, but it's actually one for Venues Otatahi, who are going to be managing the facilities rather than for us.
Is it what I'm concerned about though? Is there a critical milestone when it just becomes too hard to do any of that because you've passed a certain point in terms of fit out engineering services?
Well, we've got spaces which we are responsible for bringing services to, and responsible for putting a front on them. And Venues Otatahi are responsible for tenanting them and using them.
Right. So
and those are fixed. They're designed, they're built, sort of thing.
Right. So there's no ability to change. Yeah. And the second question from me was just around, appreciate that you've made reference to the contingency. I know you can't disclose the actual quantum, but can we get a percentage understanding of how far through we are in terms of that risk?
Is that something you could perhaps take away and have a think about?
Yeah.
It's a really fine balance. I mean, I think as in the report indicated and the team have talked about, the contractor's under pressure, which is good. You want them under pressure, but you want them working with you. So we probably can't, your call, not mine, but I would have thought we'd be...
I'm just trying to understand how much risk is remaining for us in terms of contingency versus the contractor as we've gotten...
Yeah, that
I suppose
in my mind...
The easiest way to answer that may be to say that the project team remain comfortable that we're going to come in within budget.
Yep. Cool. Great. Kelly, and then we're done.
Thanks, David. Actually, after consideration with my VO fellow director, I'll ask the question I was going to ask at board level. But can we get that footage, or is that footage available?
Yeah, it's available. We can circulate a link to it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think that's going out publicly tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be released through the media team.
Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Against? Hey, thank you very much for that, and keep up the work. That's great. Okay, Linda, do you want to come? I did see Linda. Oh, yep. Do you want to come up for